Hi everyone, welcome back. Very short week this week to get ready because we're racing on Thursday instead of Friday. So let me reintroduce you all to an old friend.
See, this is why we can't have nice things. This is a great way to hurt yourself, by the way. Well, it's a start.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Tell your friends or family if you think they'd enjoy something like this. Like I said in previous videos, it won't be race cars all the time. But we will have fun projects regardless of what we do in the future. But that's what we're doing for now. So, we have a very short week to get ready. Usually it's 1 week, Friday to Friday. This week, it's not that. It is Friday to Thursday. We have a day short here. And I usually take, I don't know, Saturday nights to edit my videos, Sundays to go see family. Then I really get to work, Mondays and other stuff like that. Usually I have Thursdays off of work. I don't know how long that'll be for, but for right now, that's what it is. And I usually work on the car all day. I don't have that option now. It's Saturday, the day after we raced, and the car has a ton of damage. I also need my porta-power, or hydraulic ram. That doesn't work. Which really sucks because I just looked up how much one is at Harbor Freight right now, and even at Harbor Freight, they're $250. It used to be a lot cheaper than that. That stinks. So I might just have to borrow one, but in the meantime, there is a ton of body damage to fix on this car after that absolute war of a race that we had that I finished third in, and I don't know how. Our restarts are terrible because we don't have power. I don't know what's going on. I tried to trace down the issue with cleaning the carburetor out, putting spark plugs in it, checking all the wires. None of that worked. I did fix the cooling issue though. Remember how the filler neck here was that red one? Well, I put this one on, which is a Moroso, which is that. No free ads, but they're a Connecticut company, and I'm from Connecticut, and they put together really nice stuff. 0 leaks, 0 drips. The car ran about 180 degrees in the feature, and didn't spit water anywhere. Matter of fact, I haven't opened up the puke tank yet, which is a disgusting word for it. I think it's just overflow. Let's see if anything comes out. I'm sure something will. Oh. Can't be that much, though. That's a very small orifice. And it does have to expand a little bit. Yeah, yep, there it is. Okay, so it's not a lot. It really was not much. It was a little bit of a... that's a splash of water. That is absolutely nothing compared to what we had before. And that is actually incredibly normal. So I am really pleased with how that's gone. So, all right, cooling system issue fixed. We got no problem with that. No, it actually cools off under caution too, which is really cool. We were riding around under caution so many times the last race. I'd sit there with the fan on, just let it cool off. I'd look down, it's like 170 degrees. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it. Just let it run. So, there's a lot of issues that we have to fix, but chief among which is gonna be damage, but I need a hydraulic ram for that. I'll probably borrow my brother's. We gotta get valve springs put in. What's the list say? Damage, we gotta repack wheel bearings. That's a maintenance item. Probably need to do that. We're gonna swap the rear because we had to tech this rear, which is my Ford 9-inch. We're allowed a Ford 9-inch bolt-in axle or the stock 7.5 that a G chassis car would have. I have another one in the bed of my truck. I take it just in case I need it, but with the 9-inch, we had to pull the entire thing apart. They teched everything, center section, pumpkin, axles, everything. They had their eyes in everything. Came back clean, put it back together, but the problem is there's no oil in it. The inner axle seals have probably moved, and I have to re-gasket the center, I'm just gonna pull it out, put the stock rear back in because it's already together, and just put the brake calipers and rotors on it, and that's it. We're good to go. So there's that. I gotta check the U-joint because we might have dropped a bearing out of it. I really want to do valve springs. We gotta fix the bumper in the rear because that's caved in. The right front has some issues I gotta attend to as well. And I think the exhaust might be leaking. That is a lot to do in a very short amount of time. So I'm going to be working my face off because we have to actually fabricate a new rear bumper. We have to reattach the rear bumper cover because it's gonna have to come off in order to do this. We have to swap the entire rear axle out of the car. It's gonna be a very short 4 days after this. Yeah, we didn't actually crash. That was just from the race. Street stocks. It was one of those deals where, like, you knew from lap 1 it was going to be a complete crap show. So when everybody, and I mean everybody, including us, was driving into the turn way over their heads, you knew you were going to be putting a bumper or two on. So I can't conclusively say that the frame is bent. I can't tell. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? So we're just gonna hack this off, build a new one, and put the bumper back on. Well, bumper cover back on. Just go back out there. After evaluating everything and figuring out what we gotta do, unfortunately I do have to get out of here for today though. We do have a ton of work to do, but man, I got a lot of other stuff to do. Like if I don't go inside and start editing my other video that you will have already seen, I won't have one. So I gotta go inside and start editing. So I'll catch you guys probably tomorrow morning. It's the next day. Don't mind the state of me. I've spent the entire morning outside trying to catch up with my yard because it was completely disgusting. And it had rained and then been 90 degrees, so it was a jungle. And I also took and got my old car started up again, and it's really, for being under 15 tarps outside, it's really clean still. I just took a little vacuum to it because I tracked mud in it, and hey, it looks nice. I'm gonna get back to work on this thing. Just gonna cut the back bumper off of it, and I'm gonna try to get something built in short order. I don't really know, my bending skills kind of suck still, but at least I can try and get it right. But again, there's all stuff I really shouldn't have to be doing, but if people had a brake pedal, they'd probably, you know, not do that. But it's street stock racing, so what do you expect? So I'm just evaluating damage at this point, but let's get to it. While that cools off, I did realize that this is a manufactured bumper, and I forgot that I'd done that. It was late model type bumper for the cover that I have. I have like a next gen ABC Camaro style bumper. It looks cool. I think it looks cool.
But apparently I bought the bumper for it, but these cars are more narrow than an ACT car, or the ABC body, I mean, jeez. And I bought the bumper, I think, locally, and it was too wide, so I cut it and narrowed it. And I guess this material is actually a lot thinner than I thought. So I when I cut it out the middle, I was just gonna cut the whole thing off and bend a new bumper. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. I cut this side off, I cut this side off, I put a jack under the chassis and hammered everything back down into place. And I'm like, these ends are okay. So I just took a piece of actual roll bar tubing that's 1 3/4 by 0.95, slid it in here, welded it in, and then I took, instead of putting sleeves in it, because that would have been hard to do on both ends, I just put and sleeved the outside of it with like an extra piece of roll bar tubing that I cut in half and then spliced over it. So that should at least increase the surface area and stop it from shearing if it gets hit. So that's at least repaired. Now I gotta move on. I gotta let that cool. I can't do anything to it. I gotta move on to the rear end. I was thinking about just putting it back together. I was gonna swap the other rear out. I was gonna do all this work, but I figure I gotta pull the drive shaft off and look at the needle bearings, make sure we didn't lose any. I got to put a lock washer on, which we forgot to do in tech. I got to just make sure that, like, I could pull the center back out. It's not a big deal. I mean, disassembling the rear and making sure everything's in place. I got a little grabber tool. I can pull the inner axle seals, move them if I need to. And I think we're just going to leave it in. It's fine. I don't even think the gasket's torn. I bet you the gasket's fine. I might not even drop the center section back out. I'll get under there with a flashlight and make sure the gasket's okay. We'll probably have to put the car up further in the air. Tighten the drain hole. I might have to pull the axles out again, but that's not a huge deal. That's like 4-8 bolts, the calipers, the wheels. Not a huge deal. Shine a light down in it. Use my grabber to kind of position where the inner axle seal is supposed to be. And just kind of throw it back together and go to AutoZone or wherever and buy a couple quarts or gallons of gear oil, and we should be able to just throw it back together. And the only reason I kind of pulled a 180 on that was, it's already in the car. It worked. We seem to be okay with it. I just don't want to make too many changes to the car to the point where we're like, we have to change lead. My brother told me about this. He's like, bro, you're going to have to mess with lead. You got no time to do that. It's like, yeah, that's a good point. I think we should just kind of eyeball it, clean it off with some carb cleaner, make sure the gasket's okay, ram the thing home, and just send it at this point, because we had it out, they teched it, it's legal. If we make changes now, people will think it was illegal. Because people think whatever they want. So, best thing to do, let's just pull the axles back out, make sure the inner axle seals are there, and just throw it back together. It sounds simple, but it never really is. But we'll take a look. Okay, I'm glad I went and looked. Don't mind these are falling down. They do that all the time. But if you look carefully enough, there are actually multiple broken needle bearings in there. Like, I can see at least 1, 2, piece of one that might be part of the 2, another one. There are broken needle bearings in that U-joint. I noticed a vibration, so I'm like, oh boy. The other cap looks okay. This one, not good. And that was from racing. That's not from us putting it back together or anything like that. So I think I'm gonna go check my pile of U-joints here, see if I can even find a cap or even just needle bearings out of one and rob it out of it or something. If not, I have to make an emergency order to like Rock Auto or not even them. I think I gotta get a conversion U-joint from what's it called there? Speedway Motors. Speedway Motors might have these, but they're Speedway Motors. They're literally like the Walmart of racing. So I got to figure something out quick. So these are the caps I just pulled off the drive shaft. This is a U-joint that I found on my shelf. I don't even know what it's for. It might even just be an old, like Monte Carlo, like factory G-body drive shaft type of deal. It's a 534 G Moog. I measured the race with my dial calipers. Then I hopped under the car and checked the one on the drive shaft. And the one on the drive shaft is exactly the same. So I replaced both of those caps because I can't trust them. And hopefully that'll be all right. Now I'm kind of concerned about the drive shaft side of the U-joint because I had the yoke side go bad. What about the drive shaft side? I do grease the U-joints quite often. These probably see a lot more wear and tear because when you pull the drive shaft off, you tend to drop them, and these are on the yoke side, but I don't know if that's really matters or anything, but yeah, you see they're broken. I do have more 1310 U-joint caps I could just swap over, but right now I don't really have a heck of a lot of time. So that's in place. I've got to pull the axles out to make sure the inner axle seals are set. Once I figure out those are set, we can throw the whole shebang back together, just leave the damn thing in the car, and I can put, I think these take a whole bunch of oil, like 3.5 quarts or 4 quarts or something like that, because they're just a bigger thing. But so we're gonna have to get some oil because I'm not reusing it. I did capture all of it, but I'm not keeping it because that's just wrong. So work continues. So I pulled this axle out to take a look at the inner axle seal. And the inner axle seal had walked all the way out towards like the end of the axle. It probably got pulled out by the axle. So I'm like, okay. So I went to like check it and inspect it, and it kind of fell apart in my hand. So I pulled it out through the end of the axle. I'm like, oh, okay, I got another one hanging around. I'll just go throw the brand new one in. It'll be fine. No, apparently you can't put them in through the end of the axle like I was hoping because it barely just doesn't fit. So that's a brilliant design feature. I managed to put the other one back together because apparently these cheap things just slide over a piece of metal. I put a little bit of grease on it, but that's not going to matter because it's probably just going to fall apart again. So I tried to put a new one in and destroyed it. So there goes 25 bucks. It's already in the trash. So now I have to pull the other axle out and pull the center, which I didn't want to do because I've already tightened everything, just to get the inner axle seals installed because it's the only way you can do it. I really should have just put the stock rear back in. Okay, rear axle's back together. All the inner axle seals are either replaced or put back into place, and I greased everything, and the gasket was actually good. It was very clean looking, no tears, no anything, so I just stuffed it back together. U-joint caps are on and they're replaced. Hopefully that'll be a non-issue. Who knows? Rear bumper's back on and cooled off. The only thing I got left I can do today, because I am, well, no watch, but I'm on some kind of time constraints here, so I'm going to get the rear bumper cover fixed back on. Hopefully the rear of the car, minus putting oil in it, will be done. Cover's back on, bumper's fixed, rear end's put back together. I gotta put oil on the list because I haven't yet and I've still not done it. So that's done, that's done, that's done. I even wiped the car down with some WD-40. I have to do body work still, but I still have to go get a hydraulic ram, porta power. so that I can actually get this thing fixed. Because I'm not fixing that, I'm pushing that back out, and then I'm going to hammer dents, but the other side I still have to push out. And yeah, a lot of stuff got pretty caved in because apparently when you lift and not go 3 wide with somebody who's already kind of out of control, the guy on the inside of you doesn't want you around anymore, and he just kind of drives into you and doesn't lift. I can hear when you don't lift, by the way, so guess your plan didn't work. So anyway,
apologies for venting my frustration, but that just seems to be kind of how it's been lately. I'm not innocent. I'm also not taking crap, but I gotta get out of here. I'm actually late. I got other obligations. I usually don't work on the car today at all, but with the one less day, I really had to. So I gotta go get ready and go visit family and stuff. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Back the next day, I've got some borrowed tools. I've got some gear oil, and we're gonna try to make some stuff happen in the short amount of time that I have to work today. I got a few hours, though. I can get a lot done in a few hours, luckily. I'm really, really hoping that parts show up, like valve springs. Valve springs is the one thing I'm really waiting on, because that's the one thing I haven't tried to get the motor to start running properly again. And that's about it. So I gotta pour some, I splurged. I got a $100 bonus from a contingency sponsor for finishing third, and I thought that was pretty awesome. God, I wish I could remember who they were, because I could shout them out on here. I kept the thing, which I'm going to use on my podcast tonight, but I'll probably put it down here if I actually remember. Sorry. But I do appreciate your efforts. I splurged. I got synthetic gear oil, so it's like double the price of regular gear oil, but it's probably better. So I'm going to toss that in, and I borrowed a porta power.
I gotta buy a hydraulic ram for mine so that I can actually just replace it, because I'm not gonna try to like replace the seal in it or nothing, because I don't know what kind it is. So I think I'll just buy a ram for mine, but until then I borrowed my brother's. Over the years of racing, we've used a lot of these hydraulic ram porta power systems. I think this is a Harbor Freight jobby. It's probably a 4-ton. It'll definitely be enough for us to get the job done here that we need to do. I like my 10-ton because if I need to straighten anything out, that'll do it. A 4-ton's pretty good, but a 10-ton can do anything you want. So I'm going to try to push this bumper out here, and I'm going to try to get this side out from the middle. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of strength in the middle as well, because, you know, I'm going to try to pull that out. Maybe that'll work, and we can get back going again. I think she's pretty well fixed for damage. That's about as far as I can really go without getting more wrap material. Got the fender kind of pushed back out by straightening the bumper, and then we kind of beat it up a little bit, and it's right back to where it was. So I think we got that straight. Nose is taking a pounding. If we'd had the number up here, it would have got wiped off anyway, according to this. So I guess it's fine. Fixed right here because that got caved in. Can opener to open when I got into somebody trying to avoid a wreck. Same exact thing happened on this side. Can openered it because, well, I run double bumpers, like one down here and one up here, so I can't lift anybody's tires off the ground, in theory, or smash it into the radiator, so I got a protector bar. Works really well, except when you cave it in right here on the corners, it cuts it right off or splits it. So it is what it is. The wipe down helped her a lot. Left side is pretty well straight. I think if I get a little extra time I'm going to put a little middle stanchion down there so it doesn't cave in as bad. And hopefully that helps. But left rear, I beefed up a little bit over here, put some more rivets because this plastic was splitting for some reason. And I mean, the quarter's fine. It doesn't look that bad. It's just right here. It doesn't look great. But that's it for the body damage. I think we got that all pretty much attenuated here.
And it's hot in here. So we got the rear end filled up. We got the rear bumper fixed. We got the body damage pretty much all done. If I need to race it as is, I can. So it's not a huge deal. I got the drive shaft fixed. That was a surprise. I know I noticed a bit of a vibration lately. And thinking, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but it's driveline related. Found 2 broken roller bearings, so there's that. Fix that. I gotta grab my keys. And like I said, we got a few other little minor things we gotta touch on. I gotta repack wheel bearings, maybe address the exhaust gaskets. I'm wondering if this one is not very good and it's leaking because it pops and farts a hell of a lot. But the plugs look clean, so. And then I saw that carbon kind of build up on the outside of a spark plug, and I'm like, yeah, that's got to be a bad gasket. I got some over here. Let's see. I got these. They're pretty thick. Maybe they'll help, maybe not. I don't know. I used to put red RTV on them. That doesn't really seal up either. I mean, if it's not completely machined flat, it's going to leak. So I think that's going to have to wrap it up for today. I have to get ready for the show tonight, and I got other things to do, so I'll be out to bake again tomorrow in the sweat box with all of you. All right, guys, next day, and got parts. I'm going to change the valve springs. Common knowledge on a crate motor says you can only really run a handful of races on a set of valve springs because, well, they're only singles. They're not double valve springs. You only got singles because the way these things are designed, they're not designed for any RPMs, right? They're not designed to rev the nuts off of them. And if you try to run cheater valve springs, they only have press and rocker studs. So if you try to run those, they'll pull the rocker studs out. So, and plus if they go to tech them, all they have to do is just check the seat pressure and they'll know if they're factory ones or not. These have the little hologram. They are factory. And luckily Speedway Motors, even though they are the Walmart of racing, they were able to get me a set 2 days in advance, which I guess there's a reason why I keep ordering from them. So I'm gonna get the valve springs done. I'm gonna put some plugs in it just because if we're gonna do it, we might as well do everything. Go all out. I've been taking a look at what else we gotta do. Pack wheel bearings, check a sway bar bushing, maybe some exhaust gaskets if I have time. But so far, we're actually doing pretty good for having a short week. But we can't lift our foot off the pedal metaphorically here. We got to just keep going and keep working. So hopefully my air conditioner is going to work. It's kind of working. Maybe it'll help. But it's not so bad. It's like 88 degrees in here. So let's get to work. Okay, valve springs changed, spark plugs reinstalled, valve covers tied down,
spark plug wires put back on. I'll probably pull the cap off the distributor just to inspect everything, make sure nothing's coming apart. You never know. I did check the drive shaft, found something coming apart, so, you know. Hubs got to come apart. Those need to have their wheel bearings greased and repacked and put back together. After that, geez, the list is awfully small, so we're making good progress.
Well, guys, I'm actually getting pretty impressed with the progress that we're making in here because we're pretty much ready to go back on scales. Now, clearly we could do more to be ready. Like, I could put a little third middle stanchion in the door bar there and make sure it doesn't cave in the future, and I could go through more of the body damage, but I already went through the rear end completely, top to bottom. I had the whole thing apart. Put fresh fluid in it, went through the brakes in the back, went through the suspension in the back, fixed all the damage and put a new bumper in the back. Came up front, well, came to the middle, found the broken roller bearings in the drive shaft, fixed those. Went to the front, inspected the hubs, the bearings, looked perfect. The grease is still bright red. So I'm like, well, it'd be a waste of grease to just pack these. So I inspected the bearings, rubbed a little grease on them, shoved them back in. I did look at the brakes. It looks like we need a rotor. That can be next week. We did the valve springs, spark plugs. I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, well, we can just take a quick look-see at like other little things, but we've still got all night tomorrow to put the car on scales, and this thing's pretty much ready for it. So I'm gonna take a look at the time, see what else I can do. I gotta size tires and pair up some sets, but other than that, we're pretty good here. So I'll catch up with you either later tonight when I figure out what I'm doing, or tomorrow. Okay, it's a few hours later. I actually decided to cut tires and wrap them because they were all new except for the left front. They got destroyed, and I figured out that that was actually a cut, so it definitely happened in that last incident with like 4 laps to go. It wasn't from me driving through the infield, it was from me getting driven over, but street stocking. So I'm gonna have to figure out which one I want, which I think I already did. That one seems pretty good that I put on. We got it all set up and ready to go. Now all we have to do is put it on scales, put some gas in it, put it on scales. I'll check the list one more time. Maybe I'll throw a little bit more grease at it just to make sure, but I'm exhausted. It's a hot, very humid day today. And I've been really trying to get this thing done because we got a day short on this thing. So now I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay guys, we're back to the final day of getting this thing ready. Not sure what the weather is gonna do because it's looking a little bit like iffy. I don't know, I've said that 15 times this year, it feels like, but it says possibility of damaging thunderstorms again. And how many times have we heard that this year? So otherwise, we're still just gonna get ready like normal. At least I have the entire day off Thursday and Friday. So if we either race or get rained out on Thursday, it won't matter. I don't have to rush to get here or get done or anything like that. So I do have one item of concern that I want to touch on before we start putting this thing on the ground and start working on getting it on scales. And that would be this distributor. Now I've had questions about it all year long so far. And I'm just gonna take a quick look-see at it and see if there's something the matter. I have a sneaking suspicion as to what could be wrong with this thing. But until we dive in, we ain't gonna know. All right, let's just move her aside. It's always one, you know, there's always one that's just kind of in the way, or two, or whatever. You just need to move. Now I'm worried that this thing's kind of floppy, I'll be honest with you. I don't like it. I'm going to pull this apart, check the lash on it, because there's like shims down at the bottom.
where the gear is, where it meshes up with the camshaft, the drive gear. And on factory units like this, because we can't do anything special with it clearly, sometimes they can, see how that pulls up and down just a little bit? Sometimes they can gear walk up the cam gear if there's too much of that end play or lash or whatever, and they can reverse timing at higher RPMs. And that's kind of what I think is happening here, is that when we start getting into the RPM range where I need it, it's coming back. Because, you know, you check timing, it's like, oh yeah, you rev it up 3 grand or whatever, check your timing, but you're usually out on the racetrack past that. And I don't think I've been checking timing past that, which I should be doing, because that could have told me a heck of a lot more about how this engine works. And I think we're going to have to do that from now on. I don't think there's anything specifically wrong with the distributor. I just think we might have to investigate that. So I'm going to do that.
Okay, timing is set. Like usual, I get a little bit of cam walk and it drops about 4 degrees of timing. So I just revved it up and until it said the timing I wanted. And that's good. Hopefully it won't ping or nothing if it gets a little low on time. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Anyway, all right. So I actually started the thing up and I forgot I had the number 1 spark plug out. So that was a fun jump scare moment, so good job there. That's locked down, that's clean, those are good, those are new. Time to get this car ready and put it on scales.
Third shower of the day upcoming. Yeah, I do that. Toe is set. I'm not doing it at the track this week. Are you proud of me? I don't know, but it was an 1/8 inch, or no, it was actually like, how far in was it? It was a quarter? No, it was an 1/8 inch knocked in, so it was a 1/4 inch total knocked in from where we started. I think we started at like an 1/8 out, which is pretty standard, and it was an 1/8 in, so I had to adjust that. Meanwhile, she's ready. So tomorrow is just going to be spent loading trailer, making sure we got tires for practice, putting everything in there, and headed up to the track, and maybe the rain will stay away. We do not have heat races. I don't know why. I'm sure there's some method to their madness. I don't really mind. It's fine with me because I'm in a points position where I high qualify because of my points position, so less work for me. So we'll probably take both practice sessions just to shake her down, make sure it works, make sure we like what we feel and see. But that'll be tomorrow. Oh, okay, it's load up day. Already hot. It's gonna be 90 degrees. Thankfully, we're the first ones out with no heat races, so give it an extra practice session, make sure I know what we're doing, make sure I know what the car feels like, and sit there for a minute until everybody finishes their heat races, so that'll be all right. Made a few changes. Made some wedge adjustments, made some engine changes, which you saw. Changed the valve springs, changed the plugs, changed a couple little minor details, fixed the distributor from whatever issue it had. I'm not completely convinced that it's completely fixed yet, but we do have to kind of deal with some other stuff like just install height and stuff like that. But I'm gonna get this place loaded up and hopefully we'll be ready to go very soon. I got about an hour and a half before I gotta leave at the latest, and we'll see you up there. Still not sure what the weather's gonna do. Pop-ups, thunderstorms are west of us, but they're not in a direct line. So who knows? It's hot, it's humid, it could happen at any moment. It's like going through a minefield.
whatever those are called. But we are here again. Race number 8, I think, for us. Excuse the bumpy road, but we're in a weird anomaly phase here because my division got one extra feature race in when everybody else didn't. So we're like one or more than one ahead of a lot of other divisions, which may be why we're not running heat races tonight. I don't know. I'm just going with the flow, and I'll see you guys, well, for practice. Practice report. Car was really good. Really good. I think we fixed some of the issues with power because I did a mock restart and spun the tires. We have an issue though, and it's not with the car. Uh-oh. If you saw the radar like I saw it, you'd put the car in the trailer too. I don't know if it'll stick around, but it's going to be enough to really cause problems. And yeah, it's one of those days. You show up and hope for the best, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. Maybe you'll get it in, maybe you won't. But I'm playing it safe. I got to shut the roof then. I'm going to move the TV so I can watch it from a nice corner over here in my shop or trailer or whatever you want to call it. And just kind of wait this one out. We'll see what happens. Oh, God. At least I got TV. Well, that stinks. Rain's going to be here a little longer than expected, and we have canceled for the night. It is what it is. Sometimes you get that in racing. People get mad all the time about like, oh, I drove all the way up here and all this stuff, and they knew it was going to rain. Blah, blah. How do you think a track makes money? They can't be, you know, closed and make money. They have to try. You can't predict the weather. It is what it is. I burned $35 in diesel. I got my check from last week. I got fuel. I got a tire, which means we're not going to be able to buy one next week, which saves me some time. So that when we come back next week, it'll be a lot easier. But I'll see you guys back at the shop. It's going to be quite the treacherous ride home. At least I got new tires on everything. Whew. Still raining. Well, that stinks. Still raining. About 8 o'clock at night. I don't even drink beer no more, but I figured tonight was as good a one as any. But I'm just going to go get the car in, even though it's still raining. I can see it clearing on the horizon. We got a pink sky out there. Let's just get her back in. We got all dressed up. Had nowhere to go. Well, she's in back and dried off. I still got my practice tires on it. I didn't even change them over. I was literally waiting for it to either rain or not rain or whatever. I left the practice tires on because I wrap, like you've seen me wrap the tires with plastic wrap so the air doesn't get to them after I shave them. Well, the plastic probably would have slipped if I tried to get the car in the trailer, so I just left it off. I dried her off because I rolled it just far enough into the box that the back end was pretty much flush with the tailgate. And I think just this little section here got wet, but I've just been wiping her down and, you know, just trying to find something to do. But since we didn't race, I think I'll go enjoy and kind of relax, get out of the mosquito nest that my garage has now just become because I had the door open. That's the problem with not racing. If you get up there and you do everything and then it gets canceled, well, we shook the car down in one practice session, which was 5 laps. And then we sat there until it rained and then we went home. So the car's done. It's done and we shook it down. We already bought fuel, we already bought our tire, so we don't have to buy that next week. So when we show up, we literally just can unload. I'll leave the practice tires on the car, I don't even care. And we'll just throw it back on the racetrack and see if it does the same thing it did last time. And that stinks for content for you guys. Because I keep saying, this isn't gonna be a racing channel forever. Correct, it's not. But when we're not racing, and that's kind of what we're doing right now, then, well, what are we supposed to be doing? You know, if I had hot rod projects or other car builds lined up, I'd be filming those, but I don't right now. So we'll find something to do. There's plenty. There's always something to do. And, well, I'm going to go enjoy the 4th of July and a whole bunch of those. And I'll catch you guys on Saturday to wrap this thing up. All right, guys, had a good Independence Day. Back in the shop for the last day, just to kind of wrap this thing up. And well, when you rain out and your car's ready and you shook it down in at least one practice session, and it was really good, what do? Now the thing's ready and it's going to sit here for a week. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to do some maintenance items, but most of those will be in the next video. For now, I'm just going to do like one more thing, then edit this video for y'all, and then shove it online, and hopefully we'll have some stuff to do next week. But I'm going to dig into the exhaust system. I keep thinking that there's an exhaust leak, and by evidence on the plugs, you see that carbon I've showed you probably in a couple of other videos. That looks like an exhaust leak. I hear a lot of popping out the exhaust. I know the engine's a little bit rich, judging by my eye meter, because of how much my eyes burn when the car runs in the garage. Well, I'm going to check for exhaust leaks. I have exhaust gaskets on here. I know people have told me just use red RTV, but like I said, unless it's completely flat, I don't think it's very good. So I got some old stocker gaskets, which do work. They have some quench to them. And I think I got one layered aluminum gasket. I'll probably try throwing those on there. Seeing if they seat properly. Hopefully, I thought I had two, but apparently I only had one in that package. Oh well. See how that goes. We'll give that a try for the next race, and then I'll fill you in on what we're gonna do next video. So exhaust is going well. I got that aluminum multi-layer whatever gasket put on here, and I tightened it until I literally could not tighten it anymore, and that felt really good. I had this copper Mr. Gasket one, and that's definitely a do not buy again item, because it did not seat. You can tell by the witness marks, and you can also tell by the horrific amount of carbon around it that it was not sealing. Here it was sealing pretty good. Here it was sealing pretty good. Here it did not seal in the least. So there's a lot of my exhaust popping and farting noises. I really, really hope we didn't burn any exhaust valves because of that. So I just got to tighten up this one. I was going to use those stock gaskets over there just because it's all I have. But I'm not going to. I'm actually going to find another one of those gaskets. Those nice multi-layer whatever they are, because that actually felt like it's sealed up, and much better than that. So I'm going to find another one of those. Maybe I'll go to O'Reilly's or AutoZone or whoever has a performance section and see if they got them first. If I can't find them there, then I'll go to Amazon. Yeah, anyway. But I think that's going to do it for this video, because I got to save some stuff to go for the next one so that at least we'll have something to put out, because there's not a lot left to do. This thing, like I said, it hit the racetrack and we were fast. But there's a couple things we're going to do in the next video. We're going to check the distributor height. I noticed on the distributor gear that it was not wearing in the middle. It was wearing towards the top of the gear, which means the distributor has to come up. So we got to fix that. I got shims on the way. We're going to fix that exhaust manifold. We're going to inspect the mufflers. Mufflers are kind of
they're another maintenance item that really get overlooked. These are spiral flow mufflers. We have like 2 different part numbers we can use. They're literally the same as each other. And I want to pull them off because I've noticed that whenever I start the car, I get a little condensation coming out of it until it warms up. It's kind of like your street car, but concrete floor is right here. You know, I got a dehumidifier, but it doesn't do everything when your garage isn't completely sealed up or have insulation. So we got to do that as well. And if I need mufflers, I'll go and order those. And then I got trailer maintenance to do because I need brakes and I've got them on the way. So I'm going to close it off for this week. Getting rained out stinks, but like I said, what are you going to do? That's just kind of how it is. Racetracks need to be open in order to make money. They don't see anything on the radar, and weather, although we've gotten very good at predicting it, predictions aren't a guarantee. I've seen lots of races go down when people have said, I don't know why you didn't cancel, it's gonna rain, and then the rain misses the track. And we got the race in. So, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But it's okay. It's not a big deal. We were quick, we got what we needed out of it, and next week's gonna make life a lot easier by not having to buy tires or fuel because we already did. So, we got a lot to do for next week. The week after that, however, might not be a video because I'm gonna be on vacation and I might take the week off. I'm sure you all don't blame me, but I'll let you know about that next video. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so and help me out a lot. I ain't looking for fame. I'm just looking to share in my adventures with everybody, and maybe Google can throw me a little gas money every once in a while, and that's about it. So tell your friends if you think they'd enjoy something like this. Tell your family too. That would help as well. So until next time, thank you guys again. I appreciate it.